All right, everybody, welcome to the next game in the NBC Game of the Week. We are in Pittsburgh, Three Rivers Stadium, to be precise, and it's the Cincinnati Reds against the Pittsburgh Pirates. This game was played June the 10th, 1978. Hello, Brian. Good to see you. Usually give the home team the hello, midlife. Usually I give the home team the thumbnail, but since it was Tom Seaver, I figured I'd use him for the thumbnail instead. I figured he's earned it. Not that Blyleven's any slouch, but, it's just the way it is. All right, interesting lineup for the Reds as we have a couple of backups playing today. Mike Lum will be in center field in place of Geronimo, and Don Warner will be doing the catching in place of Seaver. They're both on the roster. They're just on the bench, I guess, day game after night game, getting a rest. Pittsburgh, pretty standard lineup, except no Omar Moreno. And they will have Bill Robinson in center field, but no Omar Moreno is getting the day off. But, of course, he is available off the bench. And speaking of benches and bullpens, those are the bench and bullpen guys that are available to be used. Reds carrying one extra bench player, Pirates carrying one extra pitcher. But they have the same number of replacements available to them. We're at Three Rivers Stadium, so the first thing we do is check for temperature. In June, day game is a 66. In order for this to change, it's got to be higher than 82. We got to get to 82, or actually 83. So we need the 3 dice to total 17 or higher. If they total 17 or higher, we will get a boost on the deep drive. If they do not total 17 or higher, then we're just going to stick with the normal Three River thing here. And that is a 13, so that's not quite enough. It's going to make it 79 degrees today, but that's not above 82. So no effect on the deep drive in this one. Absolutely no effect. All right, so Bert Blyleven will be taking on Tom Seaver. That is the matchup here on this June 10th day. Next Saturday, we're going back to the American League. It'll be the Kansas City Royals taking on the Chicago White Sox from Comiskey. That'll be next Saturday. That'll be the June 17th game, but this is the June 10th game. So we're going with June 10th. Let me tape this sucker down so it doesn't slide so much. Don't want a whole lot of slip sliding away like we don't want to be doing a Paul Simon game where we're slip sliding away. So we are now ready to get going. Blyleven finishing up the warm-up tosses. Hello, Thomas. Hello, Robert. Hello, Marlon. Thank you, Marlon. First week of retirement, I absolutely enjoyed it. I know I'm still in the honeymoon phase on that. I did get a lot of things done around the house and some things in the yard. So it was a productive week. Got my car inspected, got the grass cut. I mean, little things like that. Went to the store and got that out of the way. Stuff I usually do on Saturday and Sunday, I don't have to do now. Only thing I'm doing on Saturday is going to take the trash to the landfill. Other than that, I've got other days to do certain things. Hello, Alan. Good to see you. All right, so Pete Rose will lead things off here for the Reds against the Pirates. And this game, NBC Game of the Week, season ticket baseball, now underway. That's a 397. That's going to be under Rose non-split, and that's a single to right field for Pete Rose. I always forget something. Forgot my base runners. Typically, when I'm trying to get a game ready together, I always get everything in place, and there's usually one thing I forget. And today, that one thing was the base runners. So let me grab these real quick. Got them fairly handy. Now, the Reds base runners turned out a lot bigger than the Pirates base runners, but that's not any kind of a implication. That's just the way I printed them out. I printed the Pirate base runners way too small, but really didn't feel like reprinting them again. So we have Pete Rose at first base on the base hit against Blyleven. Blyleven's hold is a 2. Pete Rose, His steal chances to get a jump is a 5, so he could possibly do a good job of getting a lead. But then his speed's a 3, and the catcher arm, in this case, it's Duffy Dyer. Duffy Dyer's arm is only a 4, so that's not too bad. So Pete Rose is going to look to get the lead. Thank you, Marlon. Like I said, I'm still learning the game, actually, so hopefully I don't butcher it too much. And usually there's somebody here to help me along the way if I do. So first things first, we're going to see if Pete Rose can get the lead. His steal rating plus these 2 dice have to total more than the hold and plus 10. So it's got a total 12 or higher. He is a 5, so we need these 2 dice to total 7 or higher. And they do. So Pete Rose will get the lead. So now we look at the arm again of Duffy Dyer. Duffy Dyer's arm is a 4. So it's got to equal, greater than or equal to 14 with the speed plus these 3 dice. So these 3 dice have to basically total 11 or higher for him to make it. And they do. So Pete Rose steals second base. How about that? Not known for stealing necessarily. He stole 13 bases, got caught 9 times. But he does it right here. Season ticket it's a fun game. I mean, I don't play it enough to really do a deep dive on it as far as how accurate it is and so forth. But so far it's been interesting. One of these days I might do a full team replay, or at least a pitcher replay in 1978, and maybe do a Guidry replay or something and see how it does over time. But I have no qualms with it at the moment. Obviously, I'm using it, so that should say something. Here's Ken Griffey. It's a 186 non-split, and that's a wild pitch for Blyleven. So Blyleven on corks 1. And now you have Rose at third base and nobody out. Pirates, they're going to play back. With nobody out, they're going to play back. They need outs. That's a 624 for Griffey. That's a pop up to short, so that will be a big out to get where the runner does not advance. So pop out to short by Griffey, 1 away, and here is Joe Morgan. Now with 1 out, the infield will come in. Infield is in, 650. 650, and it pays for it by coming in because that purple is going to turn to a single plus. That would have been a ground out with the runner scoring, but with the infield in, that purple means the run scores, base hit. So you take your chances, and sometimes they don't pay off. RBI single. I mean, the run would have scored either way. It would have been 2 outs, bases empty instead of a runner at first base. Joe Morgan stole 19 bases and was caught only 5 times. So he's definitely going to be looking to get the lead. His steal rating, though, is only a 1. So he needs these 2 dice to total 11 or higher to get the jump. And they do not, so he cannot get the lead. So he'll hold at first base. And here is Mr. Foster. Ooh, 685. That's dangerous. 685. That's a single plus. That will send the runners to third. So runners are now at the corners with that plus. Solid single by Foster. And even had the infield been in prior or been back prior, the run would have scored anyway. So, it's really no chance there. All right, so runners are at the corners. Foster not really a threat to steal per se, so he will hold. And Dan Dreesen, your batter. Bench not in the middle of the lineup, so they got to rely on other guys. Pirates trying to turn the double play, get out of the mess. 342, and that's an infield single. So that will score the run, put runners at first and second. The Reds come out with their hitting shoes on, and they take a 2-0 lead. Still only 1 out. And here's Concepcion. Blyleven a little frustrated. 489 split against righties. 489 is a strikeout for Concepcion. Against a lefty, it would have been a deep drive, but against a righty, it is a strikeout on the 489. So strikeout number 1 for Blyleven, out number 2 in the inning. And now Mike Lum, center fielder, in place of Geronimo, will be stepping to the plate. That's a 161. And 161 is a fly to left, and that's going to end the inning. But the Reds scored twice here in the first. Go to the bottom of the first, it's Cincinnati 2, Pittsburgh coming to bat, as the Reds have given Tom Seaver a 2-0 lead to work with. Seaver was 16-14 in 1978, 2.88 earned run average, 36 starts. Didn't matter for him, lefties or righties. He hit 225 lefties against him, 226 for the righties. So, oops, it's not an inter-squad game, so we don't need Reds out there. We need Pirates to bat. Frank Taveras will lead things off. He stole 46 bases, got caught 25 times. Omar Moreno, their other speedster, on the bench in the day off. 539, I'm sorry, 593. That should be an easy play for Griffey. Check his card for the 593 fielding play, and that is a fly to right field. So 1 away. Taveras is retired. Brings up John Milner, the left fielder. Hello, Allard. Good to see you. 326. That's a non-split chance, and it's an infield single for Milner. Again, apologies, the Pirate base runners were made a little smaller. I don't know why, but they came out that way. But they're good. I mean, you can kind of see what's going on. That's all that's important. It's the information, not the aesthetics. Here's Dave Parker. 420. And Parker on the splits, 420 against a right-hander is a deep fly to left. That's out number 2. 2 down for Bill Robinson. Milner still at first. 221. That's a split chance. Robinson's a righty, and that's a strikeout. Against a lefty, it would have been a walk, but against a righty, it's a strikeout. And Seaver takes care of the Pirates here in the first. At 1 complete, it's 2-0 Reds here at Three River Stadium. Of course, Three River Stadium and Riverfront were kind of like mirror images of each other. It was kind of hard to tell which stadium you were at because they look so similar, the old cookie cutter versions. Hello, Chuck. Good to see you. All right, so Don Warner, who's giving bench the day off, he is going to lead things off. We get a 125, and that's going to be a redirect to a 325, and that's going to be a strikeout of Warner. Strikeout number 2 for Blyleven. Look at Seaver's batting ratings. He is an I of 5 and a contact of 1. So we'll leave that there. I of 5 down here, I rating of 5, contact of 1, if it gets to that. It does not. It's a fielding check, so it's irrelevant. That's a 561. It's ground ball to Taveras, and with the blue 1, that should be automatic. And a 561 is a 6-3 ground out. Would have been a double play with a runner at first. But just a simple 6-3 ground out for out number 2. And we're back to Pete Rose. 361 for Rose non-split is a 4-3 ground out, and that will end the inning. I'll tell you a game that really kind of looks really, really interesting, but also looks like it would be way too much work to figure out how to play is Dynasty League. Saw a couple of videos on that on the board. And I'm not talking about the computer version. I'm talking about the board version. It's just a lot of charts and a lot of stuff, but it's very, very detailed. So it looks very, very interesting. But I think I've got enough games right now to fill me in for a while. I know the hot game on the the flavor, like the flavor of the month. So the flavor of the month of June, as far as board games go, apparently is bank shot basketball, because Gardner got on that thing, and now it's just like it's almost like a cult. But eventually, I'm feeling I'm sure by July, the newness will wear off of that, and we'll be back to. There'll be another game out there that somebody will jump on, but this month it's definitely that bank shot basketball. Seaver to Stargell, that's a 266 against a left-hander, and that's a deep drive to right field for Stargell, and he's a 9. So Stargell has a chance to get some damage done here. Deep drive to right field. He's a 9. We're going to add the 2 blue and white dice to the 9 and see if he has enough to get this ball out of here. We get only a 2, so that's an 11. It will still be a double. Still be a double for Stargell. So didn't get the home run, but he does get the leadoff double. Leadoff double for Stargell. That will send up Rennie Stennett, second baseman. 205, and that is a redirect to a 405. 405 is a 1-3 ground out. Runners will hold. Stargell not going anywhere. 1 down. Duffy Dyer, the batter. 620. Home team batting makes it 630. 630 is a fly to center field, and that is out number 2. And now we got Phil Garner. And Brian B., if you are tuning in or watching or paying attention or whatever, since you are a Reds fan, I will defer to you. We have the option with Garner as the number 8 batter. We can intentionally walk Garner and pitch to Blyleven. Or if you think you can get Garner out, we can force Blyleven to lead off the 3rd. So would you do an intentional walk to Garner? Pitch to Garner. Okay, very good. Just thought I'd ask. 2 outs. Stargell at second. 253 against a right-hander is a deep drive to center field. So a deep drive to center by Garner. His power is a 5. We're looking in the middle column center field. That's a 7, so it's a total of 12, and that'll be a double. Double plus batter, I guess, has the option to go to 3rd if he chooses. So unfortunately for the Reds, not walking Garner cost them a run. RBI double for Phil Garner. Cuts the lead to 2-1. And now you have the pitcher, Blyleven, at the plate. His eye is a 2. His contact is a 1. .655 turns to 665 as the home team. And it's a ground ball back to Seaver to end the inning. So the Pirates get a run. So that time pitching to the number 8 hitter backfires. And at the end of 2, it's Cincinnati 2 and Pittsburgh 1. But most times it works, sometimes it doesn't. Garner's a pretty good number 8 hitter. 2-1 ball game. Top of the 3rd we go. And Griffey is your leadoff man. He popped to short his first time up. 691. 691 is a double. A double, leadoff double for Ken Griffey. And the Reds have something cooking here in the top of the 3rd, rather, with nobody out. Here's a little Joe Morgan. That's a 248 against a left-hander on the split. That's a strikeout. That would have been a strikeout no matter righty or lefty. But Morgan is out on strikes. And here's George Foster. Foster, Australian for home run. 415 against a right-hander. 415 is a 6-4-3 double play, but with the runner at second, it's just a 6-3 ground out with Griffey holding. So 2 down, and it's up to Dreesen to not strand Ken Griffey. Hello, Doug. 358. That's a non-split. That's a fly to left, and that's going to end the inning. So the leadoff double for Griffey goes for naught. And we go to the bottom of the third. Still 2-1 Cincinnati over the Pirates. Both pitchers have fatigue of 6, which means they can pitch 6 complete innings before the 7th inning comes up to be their fatigue inning. So assuming they're effective. So Taveras will lead things off back to the top of the order for the Pirates. That's a 696, but with the home team, that becomes a 706, and that's a deep drive to center field. So the home field advantage there would have been a walk if he not added the 10, but with the home field advantage of a 10, that makes it a 706, and it's a deep drive. Now, Taveras has a power rating of 0, so we're in the center field spot. Roll the 2 dice. You roll, but pretty much, unless you roll an 11, he's going to get a hit. That's a 9, so that's going to be a single. Batter could stretch it to a double if he chooses. That's what that B question mark means. At least that's what I think it means. If I'm not mistaken, I will look again, but I'm pretty sure the B question mark means that the batter can challenge. Usually question marks mean you can challenge. You don't have to, but it means you can, as far as I know, from what I can remember. Remember, I only play this game once a week, and I play other games all the time, so not 100% sure, but if somebody can confirm, but I'm pretty sure that you can challenge that if you so choose. And again, Geronimo's not in center. This is Mike Lum that's in center field. So I'm pretty sure you can challenge when it's a question mark there. It's a double and a question mark B. So, I'm sorry, it's a single plus with the question mark B. So, can he challenge to try to make second base? I think he can. Lum's arm is a 5. That's still a pretty decent arm. His speed is a 4. So, to challenge, his speed plus the 3 dice would have to total 15 or higher. So they're going to try it. They're going to try to challenge and try to stretch that to a double. I could see Taveras doing that. That's a 12 plus the 5 speed, or 4 speed rather, is a 16, and that beats the 15. So it will be a double. He will turn this into a double by challenging the throwing arm of the center fielder. And again, somebody either now or later on down the road, if it says on here single with a B question mark, I'm assuming the batter can challenge to go to second base. So that's what I did. Hopefully that was done correctly. If not, somebody let me know either now or later, and I will make notes of it and try to remember how to do it in the future. But I think that's the way it was done there. So here is John Milner. 189, and that's going to be a walk. So it didn't really matter about challenging the runner now because the walk would have put him at second base anyway. So it didn't affect the game one way or the other. If you'd have held it first, you'd still have first and second. So all is well, I guess. Here's Parker, the Cobra. That's a 464 against a right-hander. 464 is a double to right field for Dave Parker. That will tie this game. Scoring is Taveras. Going to third is Milner. I think he's going to hold there. I believe he's going to hold there. There is no question mark to challenge anything. So, and with nobody out, I don't really see any purpose in challenging with nobody out. Put second and third, nobody out. That puts them in a bind. We are tied at 2. Parker with a big double. Brings up Bill Robinson. And Brian B., I'm assuming with nobody out, you would play the infield back, but maybe I don't want to speak for how you would manage that, but it's a 2-2 game here in the bottom of the third, second and third, nobody out. You got Robinson, Stargell, and Stenick coming up. Do we play the infield in, or do we play the infield back and try to get some outs and secure a bigger inning? Up to you. Remember, if we roll in the infield is in, okay, if we hit the purple, that's going to be a base hit. So the infield is in for Bill Robinson. 327, and that's a strikeout, so it didn't matter where the infield was. That is a strikeout. So Stargell is up. We could walk Stargell intentionally with first base open if you like, set up a double play, or just pitch to him with the infield in. I can see the merit on both of those, but all right, we're giving an intentional walk to Stargell. Set up a force play at any base. And now you can, I'm assuming with that, you'd want to play back for double play for Rennie Stennett. I'm assuming that, but I don't want to speak for you if you want to play the infield in. So we're playing back for a, yes, does that mean double play or does that mean in? I think I gave both options and I probably shouldn't have. Double play depth, you got it. All right, Seaver to Stennett. 464. 464 is a 6-4 fielder's choice, so that's going to score the run. The run will score on the 6-4 fielder's choice. They do retire Stargell, but an RBI ground out for Stennett as Milner scores, and the Pirates take a 3-2 lead. 3-2 lead with 2 outs, and that brings up Duffy Dyer. 488 for Dyer, and that's a deep fly ball to center, but that's the end of the inning. It would have been a sac fly if less than 2 outs, but Pirates put 2 across the board and lead it 3-2 after 3. So a lot of runs being scored against these 2 Hall of Fame pitchers, but got some good hitting teams too, so take that in consideration. So Blyleven back out, and he'll be facing Concepcion, Lum, and Werner. So 148, and that's going to be a 3-1 ground out. Stargell will flip to Blyleven, covering, 1 away. For Mike Lum. Lum flew to left his first chance. 163. This time it's got another fly to left. So back-to-back flyouts to Milner for out number 2 for Lum. And here's Werner. He struck out his first chance. Only 2 strikeouts for Blyleven right now. 185 is a pop-up to third, and that's going to end the inning. So a 3-up, 3-down, shutdown inning for Blyleven. Maintains a 3-2 lead for the Pirates. And we go to the bottom of the 4th. It'll be Garner, Blyleven, and Taveras due up for the Pirates. Here in the bottom of the 4th of now a 3-2 game. We try to avoid the Linda Carlisle circles in the sand. We don't need that. 242 for Seaver against a right-hander. 242 is a fly out to center field. That's 1 away. And that will bring up Blyleven. That's a 266. Blyleven's a righty. 266 is still going to be a deep drive to left field. Blyleven has 0 power, but it's a deep drive to left. Deep drive to left for Blyleven. That's an 8. So that's a double for Blyleven. Look at that. Double for Bert Blyleven. Seaver put one where he didn't want it, and Blyleven this time didn't miss it. He gets a 1-out double. And for the Pirates, that is their 4th double in just less than 4 innings. So they're getting those extra base hits. Maybe not home runs, but they're getting those doubles. Here's Taveras. 455, right-handed, is a pop-up to first base. So that will freeze everybody there now with 2 outs. And it's going to be up to Milner. First base is open, but Parker's on deck, so there's no way in the world you're walking Milner. 324, and that's going to be a fly ball to left field to end the inning, so nothing doing for the Bucks in the 4th. We go to the 5th. It is still 3-2 Pittsburgh. Seaver will be the leadoff hitter against Blyleven. Tom Seaver. All right, looking forward to it, Mr. Robert. 1999 inside pitch. .177, and that's going to be a walk. So how about that? Blyleven walks the pitcher, Seaver. Cardinal sin. Cardinal sin. Even though the Cardinals aren't playing, it's a cardinal sin to walk the opposing pitcher, but he did. And that'll bring up Pete Rose. Seaver has a 0 speed rating, as you may expect, so he's definitely not going anywhere. 688 for Rose. 688 is a single plus, so that will move. Even the slow running Seaver will get third base with that. So runners are at the corners for the Reds with nobody out. How about that? Back come the Reds. Can't count them out. Here's Griffey. Infield for the Pirates is laying back for the double play. They need outs. 676. That's not good either, probably. 676 is a single plus, the same exact thing we had last time. So Reds will tie this ball game on an RBI single from Griffey. Rose will take third. Scoring is Seaver. And we're tied at 3. We are tied at 3. With nobody out, I don't really want to steal with Griffey. I don't think we want to mess up the inning there. Infield's still back. They need outs. 496. And that's not going to be the way to do it. That's a deep drive for Joe Morgan on a 496 against a right-handed pitcher. That is a deep drive. Morgan's power is a 6. So we're going to add 6 to the blue die and look in this column. That's an 11, so a total of 17. And that's a 3-run home run for Joe Morgan, Little Joe. Hello, Sean. Good to see you. Little Joe with a 3-run home run, a power of 6, add to the 11 for 17, and that's a home run. So a 3-run shot for Joe Morgan, and they are teeing off on Burt Blyleven. Little Joe comes through. He hit 13 home runs in the 78 season. This one's a 3-run shot. We got a 4-score Abraham Lincoln inning going right now, but still nobody out. And it's now 6-3, and the Pirate bullpen is active. Pirate bullpen is definitely active. We bring in the benches and bullpen for those that came in later. And 5 pitchers are available for the Pirates, including Jerry Royce, who did a lot of starting, but he's in a phase where he's doing relief work. So who would the Pirates want to bring in, or who might they want to use? Let's see. Stamina for Royce is only a 2 in relief. Everybody else is a 1. So, yeah, Jerry Royce is loosening in the bullpen. Pitched 11 games that he did not start, so he's kind of half and half. 12 starts, 11 relief appearances. So Jerry Royce is loosening in the pen for Blyleven. Base is clear now for George Foster. That's a 6-9. Voice is getting terrible here. 696. That's going to be a walk. So Foster will walk, and you wonder how much longer they can go with Blyleven. That might be it. I think that's going to be it for Blyleven. He has to be home by 11, so he's going to go. Blyleven will be out of there. He will leave, and Jerry Royce will be coming into the ball game. He will be first one out of the pen is Jerry Royce, and he'll be facing the lefty Dan Dreesen. So Blyleven goes 4+. He didn't get anybody out in the 5th. He's going to give up 6 runs, and he's also responsible for Foster. They were all earned. How many hits to give it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I got him for 8 hits. Let's see, there's one, just the 1 walk. That was his only walk, was to Foster. Of course, gave the home run to Morgan, and he struck out 3. So now Royce has to come in and try to keep things where they are. Royce to Dreesen, that's a 623. 623 is a pop up to second base, so that's 1 away. And that brings up Concepcion. 170. And a 170 is a bloop single. So with less than 2 outs, the runner can only go 1 base because they don't know if the ball is going to be caught. So it's just a bloop single for Concepcion. Foster will stop at second. And now here's lefty on lefty, Mike Lum. Mike Lum. Royce, 100. That's a redirect to a 300, which is a strikeout. So he strikes out Lum for out number 2. And that brings up the catcher Warner. 351. Warner, that's going to be another strikeout. So Royce gets out of the rest of this mess, but it is a 4-score inning, Abraham Lincoln style, for the Reds. And they lead it 6-3. And Seaver has been given a huge lead to work with. And Seaver will be facing Parker, Robinson, and Stargell due up here in the bottom of the 5th. 6-3 Reds. Was not expecting this many runs. But you never know what the dice are going to show. 625 for Parker. And that is a pop out to short. So Parker got up under it. Pops to short. 1 away. And here is Bill Robinson. 253. And Robinson's a righty. 253 is a deep drive to center field for Seaver. Robinson's power is a 7. So we're going to add 7 to the blue dice. That is a 9, total of 16. So it's a deep fly to center field. Not quite enough for the home run. Just a loud out. Robinson now 0 for 3. And here's Wilbur Stargell. That's a 233 lefty. 233 is a fly to center field, and that will end the inning. So a shutdown inning of his own by Tom Seaver, and the Reds maintain a 6-3 lead as we go to the 6th. And Seaver will lead off. He had a big double his last time up to start of the 4-run rally. I'm sorry, the double did not. Yeah, the double started. Actually, it was a walk, not a double. My bad. He walked to start that 4-run inning. 567. That could be trouble for the shortstop Taveras with the blue 7. That could be trouble. 567. That's going to be an error on Taveras. So an error on Mr. Taveras, E6. And Seaver is aboard again. So tough play for Taveras. He couldn't handle it. He is charged with an error, even though the AstroTurf should have helped him out. And now Pete Rose. Rose is 2 for 3 with a 2-run scored and a stolen base. 163, and that's going to be a bloop single, so that's going to put runners at first and second with nobody out. Rose 3 for 4 now. Reds are pounding out the hits. Here's Griffey. 375, and that's going to be a non-split. 375 is a fly to left, and they get the first out of the inning. Here's little Joe. He homered his last time up. Had that big 3-run homer that really gave the Reds some distance. 449, split against a lefty. 449 is still going to be a double for Joe Morgan. Double for Morgan. Rose will stop at third. Scoring is Seaver. It's an unearned run, but they'll take it. Second and third now. It's now 7-3 Cincinnati. as they are just laying waste to the Pirate pitching staff. Royce is set to bat fourth this coming inning, so they like to get him through the inning if possible. Foster is up. First base is open, so they will walk Foster intentionally, try to set up a double play to get out of the inning. So Dan Dreesen stepping to the plate. That's a 145, and a 145 is a single plus, so how about that? Everybody goes two bases. It's a two-run single for Dan Dreesen. Rose will score. Morgan will score. 3 runs in the inning. Foster will go to third. 3 runs in this inning. And with Concepcion coming up, that's going to be it for Royce. They can't go anymore with him. He's going to have to leave, and they'll bring in somebody else to pitch. Looks like they're going to bring in Ed Whitson out of the bullpen. So Ed Whitson will be coming on for Royce. And for the Pirates, that will leave Tekulve plus the 2 left-handers, Hamilton and Jackson, available in the bullpen. But Whitson trying to get out of this mess. 3 runs are already in. It is 9-3. Was not expecting a blowout by any means in this game, but the dice have just been in the Reds' favor the whole game. All right, here is Concepcion. Infield looking for that double play. See what Whitson can do. 462. And that's a double to right field for Concepcion. He doubles. Dreesen will stop at third. No sense trying to do anything differently there. RBI double. That run is charged to Royce. So we can close the book on. Well, we can't because Dreesen's his responsibility too. So can't close the book just yet. Concepcion with that double. Here comes Mike Lum. Infield is now in. 180. And 180 is a walk. That's going to load the bases. Reds are just about ready to bat around as the catcher, Warner, the 9th man to bat in the inning, is coming up with only 1 out. And the bases loaded. You could really use a double play right about now. 6:15. 6:15 is a pop out to second, so that keeps everybody where they are. Nobody can move up. That is out number 2. And now Seaver, who led off the inning reaching on an error by the shortstop, is up again. How many times does a pitcher get to bat twice in 1 inning? Well, you got it right here. Bases loaded, 2 outs. 3 runs are in. Actually, 4 runs are in again. It's another 4-score inning. So it is 10-3, favor of the Reds. Whitson, 324 against a right hand. I'm sorry, over here, 324. Oh, I'm sorry. It's going to be his contact rating. His contact rating is a 1, so that's a strikeout to end the inning. But another 4-run inning for the Cincinnati Reds. And they are just pummeling the Pirates from pillar to post in this one. They leave them loaded, but I don't think it matters. We will go to the bottom of the 6th. 10-3. Unfortunately, was hoping for a close game, but sometimes you get games like this. So Stennett will be the leadoff hitter. Seaver, large and in charge with a 7-run lead, obviously. 5:52, that's a play for Pete Rose. Should be easy. 5:52 is a 5-3 ground out. So there you go. No problems for Pete. And that brings up Duffy Dyer. So the Reds apparently didn't need Geronimo or bench today. They got their rest and still going to get a big win. Seaver, 6:52. Duffy Dyer batting makes it 6:62. And that's still going to be a ground ball back to Seaver. So nothing doing there. And that will send up Phil Garner. 5:46, that's Joe Morgan. A 5.46 for Joe Morgan is going to be a single for Phil Garner. So Garner will single. That will bring up the pitcher spot, and they will pinch hit for Whitson. They will pinch hit for Mr. Whitson. So let's look at their bench and see who's available off the bench. They're going to use, they got some lefties they can use. They're going to go and use Ed Ott, the left-hander, shortest name in baseball. And we'll figure out who the new pitcher is going to be later. But right now it's Ed Ott off the bench for the Bucks. Ed Ott. Number 14 in your program, number 1 in your heart, Ed Ott will be pinch hitting. Hello, Colin. So Ed Ott picking up a bat. Pinch hitting here in the 6th with Garner at first and 2 outs. So a 10-3 ball game. Seaver to Ott, 6:06 makes it 6:16, and that's going to be a pop up to second to end the inning. So Ott fails in the pinch. Nothing doing for the Bucks. At the end of 6, it's still 10-3. Reds large and in charge. And the Pirates will need a new pitcher. Coming up for the Reds, it'll be top of the order. Rose, Griffey, and Morgan. Got some lefties coming up, so Pirates will go to a left-hander of their own. Probably will be Hamilton. Yep, Dave Hamilton will get the call. Left-hander. Clean up Royce and Whitson, I guess. I forgot to do, well, actually, score like this, it probably doesn't even matter. So Hamilton is used. So Jackson and Colby, the only 2 left in the bullpen for Pittsburgh. Cincinnati, of course, have not used any bench players or bullpen players. So Pete Rose will lead off here in the top of the 7th. Had to move my columns over by 1 because they batted around. 10-3 Reds. Wish it was a closer game, but you don't always get what you wish for. There's Rose. 6:32 for Rose will be a fly to center. So that's 1 away. 1 down for Ken Griffey. 581. That's an easy play for the center fielder, Bill Robinson. Actually, he's a left fielder by trade. He will turn to a center fielder where he is a 1. So we're using the secondary fielding rating chart or card, whatever you want to call it. And if we start looking at the outfielder, if the blue die is less than his range, less than or equal to his range, then we go to, it's a fly out. If not, then we look at his arm. So his range is a 1. The blue die happens to be a 1, so it's a fly out to center field. So we got lucky with the blue 1 there. That's the only thing that saved his bacon, was the blue 1. So Robinson does make the play. And that will send it to Joe Morgan. .324. That is going to be a fly to left to end the inning. So Hamilton pitches a scoreless frame, so he's going to stay in there to pitch some more, I do believe. They don't want to burn their entire bullpen in 1 game, so I think they want to go that route. Tom Seaver will be coming up. This will be his fatigue inning, as he is a 6th, so the 7th inning starts his fatigue. But he's got a 10-3 lead, so Sparky can have a long leash if they so desire. But right now, it is the 7th inning stretch, and that means take me out to the ball game. After all these runs and everything, I'm probably going to need a 7th inning stretch just to help me out. So you're welcome to join along while I take a stretch break, and we'll be right back with Take Me Out to the Ball Game. All right, 7th inning stretch is in the books. Programming note, it'll be Stratomatic Saturday night, roughly around 7:30 or 8 o'clock tonight. We will have Stratomatic 1987 replay American League. We will be in or at the Mistake by the Lake in Cleveland. Kansas City Royals taking on the Cleveland Indians. And we're going to have a decent pitching matchup. It's going to be Brett Saberhagen for the Royals and Tom Cotton Candiotti for the Indians. And that will be tonight, sometime between 7:30 and 8 o'clock. Right now, Tom Seaver will be facing the top of the order, Tavares, followed by Milner and Parker. He is fatigued, so any extra hit's going to add 10 to the ballpark roll. That's a 5-15. Right back to Seaver. 5-15 is a 1-3 ground out. So Seaver, quick reactions, makes that play. One away. Brings up John Milner. 3-0-3 for Milner, and that'll be a strikeout. Seaver, not that many strikeouts. That's only his third. He struck out Robinson twice, and that's the first time he gets somebody else, and that's Milner. Here's Parker, 2 down, bases clear. Parker 1 for 3 with a double. 697, but again, the added 10 makes it a 707, and that's a deep drive to center field for Parker. His power is a 9, so we're going to add 9 to the blue and white dice and end up here. If you roll 9 or higher, it's a home run. That's a 9, round the number, so it is a home run. 9 plus the 9 power of Parker gives him an 18 for a solo shot for Dave Parker. Solo home run, and that makes it a CB Radio 10-4 good buddy game. 10-4 as we go to Robinson with 2 outs and the base is empty. 256 against a right-hander, and that's a deep drive to left. So Robinson has a chance to go back-to-back. He's a power of 7. Blue die and white die add it to 7. That's a 10, so we got 17, and that's a home run. Right on the edge there. So back-to-back jacks. And they make it a 10-5 game. One more than the Dolly Parton 9-5 game. So we got a 10-5 game on back-to-back jacks from Robinson. So apparently Seaver just about done, as he has given up 2 home runs. Now Brian B is saying bring in Manny Sarmiento. So Sparky will be going to the mound and pulling Seaver. And we'll be bringing in Manny Sarmiento. That leaves Bear, Bourbon, and Tomlin in the bullpen. So Seaver, nice outing. Fatigued here a little bit at the end, so he's going to come out. He's going to turn his good outing into a so-so outing, because now he's going to give up 5 runs in less than 7 innings. But he will be obviously get the win unless the Reds really blow it. So Seaver goes 6 2/3. He is going to give up 5 runs, all of which were earned. He's going to give up the 2 long balls. Let's see, walks and strikeouts. 2 walks. 1 was intentional. So that's 2 walks. Strikeouts, 1, 2, just the 3 strikeouts. And hits, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hits. So the line on Seaver, 6 2/3, 9 hits, 5 runs all earned, 2 walks, and 3 strikeouts. And of course, he is eligible for the win, as he still holds a 10-5 lead with 2 outs. Here's Wilbur Stargell. That's a 166, and that's a fly to left to end the inning. So we go to the 8th here in Pittsburgh. Hamilton will be coming back out to face Foster, Dreesen, and Concepcion. Hamilton, 566. That's Tavares. That could be trouble. 566 for Tavares is a single for George Foster. So Tavares unable to get there, and Foster takes advantage. Lead off single. I'll bring up Dreesen. 398, and that is a 2-run home run for Dan Dreesen. Non-split, 2-run home run, Dan Dreesen. And the Reds just get back the 2 runs they just gave up. 2-run home run for Dreesen. And the score now is 12-5. Hamilton is going to be lifted. And they'll go to the bullpen again. And they will bring in Grant Jackson. Grant, that leaves to Colby as the only bullpen arm left. But Grant Jackson will be coming on to pitch in relief of Hamilton. Hamilton will go 1 inning plus, give up 2 hits and 2 runs. No walks, no strikeouts. So Grant Jackson is your pitcher facing Concepcion. It'll be Concepcion, Lum, and Werner. All right, we're going to let Lum hit and bring in Geronimo for defense in the 8th. All right, will do. We can do that. As soon as I drop my red die, we will get going again. It is 12-5. 5-10. That's right there for Grant Jackson. That's an easy ground out for 1 away. That'll bring up Lum. 127, and that's going to be a redirect to a 327, which is a fly to left for out number 2. And Lum will be lifted. And Cesar Geronimo will take over in center field. Won't put him in that lineup spot yet because we could, if Werner gets a hit and we pinch hit for Sarmiento, you could double switch. So I won't, well, I'll put him here, but I won't write it down on the score sheet just yet because that could be a potential double switch. All right, so Werner up with 2 outs and the base is clear. 436 against a lefty is a strikeout. So that's a moot point now. Struck him out to end the inning. So actually, we could do a double switch if you like because the pitcher spot's going to lead off. We can put Geronimo, bat him 9th. Well, no, we can't do that because you have to be taking out the pitcher to do that. My bad. So we'll just leave it alone. It's a 10. They got a 12-5 lead, so there's not going to be a whole lot of strategy involved here, I don't believe. In a 12-5 game, I don't think you need a lot of strategy to win. But Sarmiento has 2 innings of relief, so he will be tired after this inning. So probably pinch hit for him anyway, most likely, in the 9th inning, just a guess. But in the 8th, 2 runs for the Reds. They lead at 12-5. It'll be Stennett, Dyer, and Garner, and a pinch hitter for Jackson if it gets that far. 6-11 becomes 6-21, and that's going to be a pop out to second. So the Pirates just no match for the Reds in this one. This was just a red mauling. Duffy Dyer, 152, and that will be a fly to left, 2 down. So Sarmiento has retired all 3 he's faced, and here's Phil Garner. 584, that's the second baseman, Joe Morgan. That should not be any problems. I'm sorry, 584 is center fielder. That's the new center fielder, Geronimo, don't forget. The new center fielder, Geronimo, on a 584, that is a fly to center, and that will end the inning. Tell you, when you bring a new fielder in, the ball will find you. And it did right there. So Grant Jackson's actually going to pitch the 9th because he is set to lead off the bottom of the 9th, so might as well let him pitch. He's tired, but they don't care. They just want him to get through the inning. Now, I'm assuming we're going to have Auerbach pinch hit and Bourbon in the bullpen, okay? So Bourbon will come in to pitch the 9th, and a guy named Rick Auerbach, no relation to Red, I don't believe, even though he's on the Reds. It's a Red Auerbach, but it's not the same Red Auerbach that's in Boston. So Auerbach will get the call to pinch hit here in the 9th, and Bourbon will pitch the 9th. Sarmiento, an inning and a third of pitching, and he didn't give up anything. No walks, no strikeouts, no hits, no runs, no nothing. So Auerbach, pinch hitting against Grant Jackson. Hello, Scooney. Good to see you. Too bad it's not a closer game. 12-5 Reds if we go to the top of the 9th. 628. He's tired, makes it 638. But still, that's still a 3-1 ground out. So Stargell will flip to Jackson to retire Auerbach. That is one away. And back to the top of the order for Pete Rose. It's a 156, and that's going to be a walk. So I don't know whether you want me to bring in Ray Knight for defense for Rose or just let Rose play it since they're winning 12-5. Might be just as well to leave Rose in there. I don't know. Knight for Rose. Okay. Let's see here. Do we pinch run? Rose speed is a 3. Knight's speed is only a 1. So we'll keep Rose on the bases, but we will use Knight going forward in the 9th inning. But Rose will stay on the base paths. He's a better runner than Ray Knight is. But Ray Knight will take over at third base in the 9th inning. So here's Griffey. It's a 255, and that's a base hit plus, but the plus only pertains to a runner at second, not at first. So runner at first and second. And now Grant Jackson really fatigued here. The Pirates are going to have to make a move. They can't let Grant Jackson go on and embarrass themselves any further. They don't really want to use DeColvey, but they're going to have to. And there will be a double switch since DeColvey is set to lead off the inning. So who it is, let's see who it's going to come in. Duffy, Dyer, they already used. Let's see, second, who they got on the bench here. Let's pull out the old lineup thingy if I can find what I did with it. It went way over here. All right, so we're going to use Geronimo. We're going to use Knight, and we're going to use Auerbach here. We're going to use Bourbon here, DeColvey here, but who's going to come in and play? They could use Sanguillen to catch, I suppose. Let's see. What is Sanguillen's rating for catcher? Or does he play first base more than catcher? First base is his primary. So I don't really want to take him out, I don't think. What do we want to do here? Third baseman, they're going to use... Well, he's a terrible hitter. I don't want to use him. Boy, I don't know what we're going to do with this. Sanguillen's 264. Yeah, we want to use Sanguillen. We'll take Stargell out. So Stargell will come out. Sanguillen will bat 9th and play first base. And Stargell will get the rest of the game off. Pitcher spot will go in Stargell's spot. So it is Sanguillen who's going to come on. And DeColvey will pitch and bat in the number 5 position right behind Bill Robinson. So DeColvey is on. Sanguillen will lead off the bottom of the 9th. So DeColvey is on with 1 out and runners at first and second. .372 for Griffey. Non-split is a fly ball. I'm sorry, 372 is up here. Fly ball left, but runner cannot advance. 2 down for Joe Morgan. Little Joe. Wait a minute. That was Joe's. Griffey was the one who singled, so it should have been Morgan batting to begin with. So let's see here. It was a fly to, oh, it was on the, it was this 352. So it's actually, boy, now I don't remember what the roll was. I got to go back and look at the replay to get the roll now, because it might be a double play or it could be a walk, depending on what the roll was. And unless somebody can tell me exactly what the roll was, I got to go back into the instant replay, so to speak. Figure out what my roll was. So let's see what the roll was in this case. So let's see what we got here. Waiting for the roll to come up. So I don't remember exactly what, I know what kind of where it was, but I don't know exactly where it was. And it should have been Morgan's at bat, not Griffey. That was the problem. All right, 372. That's what the roll. 372. So it's a 4-6-3 double play. So it was a double play to end the inning. So it's going to be a 4-6-3 double play. So Colby only faces 2 batters. Oh, 1 batter and gets 2 outs. How about that? So the Reds don't get anything more in the 9th. And we go to the bottom of the 9th. And we have Ray Knight now at third base for defensive purposes. Manny Sanguillen will lead off as he came in on the double switch. And Pedro Borbon is your new pitcher. 12-5, bottom of the 9th. And I don't even think RJL's 9th inning magic can come out of this, but hey, maybe they'll make it interesting. You never know. But Pedro's pretty tough, so we'll have to see. 654 becomes 664. It will still be a ground ball right back to Borbon. So an easy play. Retires Sanguillen. Next Saturday, we're back in the American League. It'll be the Kansas City Royals taking on the Chicago White Sox from Comiskey Park. That will be the NBC game of the week next Saturday. Frank Taveras, your batter. 639 becomes 649. And 649 is a ground ball to third to the new third baseman, Ray Knight. Keep telling you, bring in a new defender, the ball will find you. So 2 down, it's up to John Milner, or Borbon will have a 1-2-3 inning to finish this game. 134, and he does. That's a fly to the left, and there's your ball game. Borbon gives up nothing. And the Cincinnati Reds defeat the Pittsburgh Pirates by the score of 12-5. And we're going to total, well, obviously the winner is Seaver. The loser is Blyleven. There is no save because of the score differential. So let's get the totals for each of the teams. Pirates managed 9 hits. Check out the Reds. See, Blyleven originally gave up 8. So let's see here. 1, that's 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I've got them for 16 hits unofficially for the Reds. So for the Reds, oh, it's a terrible, right on my top of my tape here. 12, 16, and 0 for the Reds. 5, 9, and 1 for the Pirates unofficially. I'm not sure what that means, Brian B. But anyway, Reds thumped the Pirates by the score of 12-5. 12 runs, 16 hits, and no errors for the Reds. 5 runs, 9 hits, 1 error for the Pirates. Winning pitcher, Tom Seaver, which is why I gave him the, I guess he got the good karma from the thumbnail. And losing pitcher was Burt Blyleven. I was going to use Burt Blyleven as the thumbnail, but I decided to switch off at the last minute and do Seaver. And apparently that worked out. Oh, and yeah, that's right. And this one, that's right, the old Marty Brenneman call. You got that correct. Yes, absolutely. All right. So next 2 games, today and tomorrow. Tonight will be Stratomatic, Kansas City at Cleveland. Saberhagen against Tom Candiotti. And then tomorrow, an inside pitch. We're at Shea Stadium. And we're going to have Tom Seaver again, but this time for the Mets before he gets traded against the same Pirates. But it'll be Jerry Royce, who did relief work in this game, but he's going to get the start against Tom Seaver. That's the April 22nd game. Remember, there was no game at all in the National League on April the 21st. So all the bullpen arms will be rested. Won't worry about that because they all had the day off. And so next two games tonight, Kansas City at Chicago in Stratomatic. And on Sunday, not sure if it's going to be morning or evening. I haven't figured that one out yet. Probably morning if I had to guess. It will be Pittsburgh at the Mets. Seaver against Royce, an inside pitch. So that's going to do it from here. Hope you enjoyed your presentation of NBC Game of the Week season ticket baseball. Didn't get a chance to, unfortunately, see Clay coming in, but maybe he'll catch it on the replay or something. I don't know. But appreciate all you guys tuning in and giving me, pointers if I get a rule that's a little questionable. Give me some clarification on that. That's always a nice thing to have. And I guess RJL, I'm assuming the Panthers and Oilers will resume tonight in Edmonton. I'm guessing. It's a shame the Panthers let that one get away the other night. They were up 3-0 after one period. I thought the game was going to be over, and then all of a sudden, Edmonton just went wild. So it's the way it goes sometimes. You never know. And apparently home ice doesn't mean that much in hockey because there's a lot of visiting teams winning. So maybe it doesn't mean quite as much as it does in other sports. I don't know. But either way, I'm not a hockey aficionado, so I don't really know what I'm talking about when I talk about hockey. But anyway, I'll probably tune in just to catch the score if nothing else. But so that's going to do it from here. Again, final score, Reds bludgeon the Pirates 12-5. And until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, the way you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.